Hello, this is Mr. Ahmed, and today we'll do lesson 1.3 compute unit rates involving fractions. So, what we'll learn today is to compute unit rates associated with ratios of fractions. And our main vocab today is reciprocal. And two numbers are reciprocal if you multiply them and you get 1. So, for example, if you have 2/3, its reciprocal is 3/2. It's like you switch the numerator with the denominator. Okay, so you just flip the fraction. And actually, if you have the 2/3 multiplied by the 3/2, that will equal to 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 6/6, which is equal to a whole one. So a reciprocal to a fraction, just flip the fraction. Okay, so let's start with spark your learning. Rick and Tina hiked at different constant rates. Rick hiked half mile every 15 minutes or quarter hour. It took Tina 10 minutes to hike quarter mile. Find the distance each hiked in 1 hour. So first let's start with Rick. So Rick hiked half mile every 15 minutes or quarter hour. So what we will draw here is a box, and inside this box, quarter hour. And this quarter hour is half mile. We know, guys, that the hour is 4 quarters. So if another quarter hour, and that means it's half an hour now, so it means half mile more. Another quarter hour, so these are 3/4 hour now, and it's half mile more, and one more quarter hour, and this is another half mile. So now we have 4 boxes. These 4 boxes are 4/4, which is a whole one, which is the 1 hour. And you can see down here, it's half mile, half mile, half mile, half mile. So together they are 2 miles. Okay, so in 1 mile, Rick hiked 2 miles. You can also use a table. We can make a table like this. Time up in hour and down is the mile, which is the distance. So you can write here, for example, quarter hour. So after quarter hour, Rick hiked half mile. What about after another quarter, which is half an hour? So after half an hour, Rick hiked another half mile, so which is 1 mile. And after one more quarter, which is 3/4 hour, so that will be 1.5 miles. So after one more quarter, that will be a whole hour. So after 1 hour, it will be 1/2 more for the miles. So it will be 2 miles. Okay, let's see this situation for Tina. Okay, Tina took 10 minutes to hike quarter mile. So a box of 10 minutes, and it is quarter mile. We know that the hour is 60 minutes, so we need to draw 6 boxes of these. Okay, so one more box is 20 minutes, another quarter mile, 10 minutes, 30 minutes here, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. So 6 boxes, 60 minutes. This is the full hour. Okay, and you can see down here we have quarter and quarter and quarter and quarter. So these 4/4 are a whole one. So 4/4 are a whole one. And we have a quarter and quarter, which is a half. So it's 1.5 mile. Okay. So Tina hiked in the 1 hour 1.5 miles. Let's see this in table. So we'll draw a table also, time in hours and distance in miles. Okay, guys. What is the 10 minutes to hours? So 10 minutes represent how many hours? We know that the hour is 60 minutes. So 10 minutes, it's like 10 over 60, which we can say 1/6. So the 10 minutes is, they are 1/6 of an hour. Okay, so let's see, after 10 minutes, which is 1/6 of an hour, Tina hiked quarter miles. So 2/6, it's 2 quarters, which is half mile. And 3/6, it will be another quarter. So it's a 3/4 mile. And 4/6, that will be 4 quarters or a whole one. So we have 1 mile after 4/6 after 4/6 of an hour, that will be 1 mile. What about 5/6? After 5/6 hour, that will be 1 1/4. And 6/6, which is actually a whole one, that will be 1 1/2. So increase quarter to the 1 1/4. So it will be 1 2/4 or 1 1/2. So after 1 hour, it's 1 1/2 miles. Okay, page 21, build understanding. Question 1 says, Jesse loves to go hiking on rustic trails, through trees, and along rivers. One day, in 20 minutes of hiking, she hiked 1 mile. If Jesse hiked at a constant rate, what would that rate be? Question A, write Jesse's hiking rate in all the ways you can think of from the information given. So what do you see here? It says your 20 minutes of hiking, that is 1 mile. So this is a rate, guys. So we can say 20 minutes for 1 mile. Also, you can switch it and make it 1 mile to 20 minutes. Okay, another way, you can say it's 1 mile for third hour, because the 20 minutes, they are third an hour. Okay, you can also switch it, make it third hour for 1 mile. And then you can say also it's 1 hour. If it's 1/3 hour, 1 mile, it means another third, which is 2/3, will be 2 miles. So 3/3, which is the whole hour, that will be 3 miles. So in 1 hour, 3 miles, or we can say 3 miles in 1 hour. So question B, complete the statements below to show how to write Jesse's hiking rate as a unit rate in miles per hour. Okay, guys, so it says here miles per hour, and get used to this, guys. The first item will be up, or the first thing that we will divide, and per hour, we need to divide it by the hours, or the denominator will be the hours. So as you can see here, up the miles, they are 1 mile, and that is in 20 minutes. Or as we said, we can make it 1 mile in third an hour. Okay? Now, if we have 1/3, how to make it a whole one? Like we said in the beginning, we can multiply by the reciprocal of 1/3. It's like you switch the 1 with the 3, and that means it's times 3/1, which is actually 3. So you can just multiply by 3 to get a whole one. So if you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you get a whole number, a whole one. Okay? So here, a third, in order to make it 1, you need to multiply it by 3, by the reciprocal. Okay? So if you multiply down by 3, you need also to multiply up by 3. So you will have up 1 times 3, which is 3, and down a third times 3, which is 1. So it's 3 miles for 1 hour. So you can say that you have to multiply 1/3 hour by 3, by the reciprocal, to make the second quantity in the unit rate 1 hour. So multiply the first quantity also by 3 as well. So if you multiply down by 3, you need to multiply up by 3, so the ratio stays the same. Letter C, it says, Amaya prefers hiking on more hilly trails. One time Amaya reached the mile marker pictured in 20 minutes, which is this, the half mile, okay? In 20 minutes, hiking at a steady pace. Show how to find the unit rate in minutes per mile. So we need minutes per mile, minutes to miles. So we write the minutes up. So 20 minutes, we write it up and down how many miles from the picture here. You can see it's half mile. So we needed unit rate. It means the second number should be 1. The denominator should be 1. So in order to make the denominator 1, we multiply by the reciprocal. And what is the reciprocal of a half? You just switch the 1 with 2. So it's a 2 over 1, which is actually 2. So you multiply up and down by 2. So 20 times 2, this is 40, and half times 2, it's 1. So we can say it's 40 minutes for 1 mile. This is the unit rate. Question 2. A recipe says to use 2/3 cup of milk to make 4/5 serving of pudding. How many cups of milk are in one serving? Question A. It says recall that reciprocals are two numbers whose product is 1. Explain how reciprocals are used to find the unit rate. Okay, again, we need the milk per serving. So we write the milk up, the 2/3 up, and the 4/5. This is the serving down. Okay, we need the 4/5 to be a whole one. So we just multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5/4. So you'd multiply by 5/4 down. You need to multiply by 5/4 up. When you do 4/5 times 5/4, this is equal to a whole one. And when you do 2/3 times 5/4, this will be 5/6. So 5/6 over 1, which is 5/6 cup of milk per serving. Okay, so let's explain how reciprocals are used to find the unit rate. So what we did here, to rewrite the second quantity as 1 serving, multiply both quantities by 5/4. We multiplied by the reciprocal of the second quantity. Question B, how can you use division to find this unit rate? And I'll put a star here because this is really important, because you can use this in most of the questions to find unit rate. And it's really easy, guys. So here, what we can do, we can just divide the 2/3 by the 4/5. So in the question here, we need cups of milk per servings, okay, or for 1 serving. So what we do, we divide the amount of milk by the number of servings. So amount of milk is 2/3, and for the servings, it's 4/5. So we just divide these two fractions. 2/3 divided by 4/5. Remember, guys, dividing fractions, if you have fractions, always do keep, change, flip. So you keep the 2/3, write it again, 2/3, and turn the divide into multiplication. Okay, so keep the 2/3, change the divide into multiply, and flip the 4/5, the reciprocal of 4/5, which is 5/4. And you can here simplify before you multiply, and it's easier. You can see that the 2 and the 4, both numbers can be divided by 2. So if you divide 2 by 2, you get 1, and if you divide 4 by 2, you get 2. So what you'll have in the numerator, 1 times 5, which is 5, and down 3 times 2, which is 6. So it's 5/6 cup per serving. And I see this way easier. You just divide the two quantities. It says milk per serving. You divide the amount of milk by the amount of serving. Question 3. Step it up. Jelly makes limeade using 3/4 cup of water for every 1/5 cup of lime juice. Rene's limeade recipe is different. He uses 2/3 cup of water for every 6th cup of lime juice, whose limeade has a weaker flavor. And we mean, guys, by a weaker flavor, it has much water, okay, to lime juice. So the flavor is weak if it has a lot of water. If you put a lot of water to the juice, the taste is weaker. Okay. Question A, what do you need to know to solve this problem? So we need to know the rate of water to lime juice in each limeade. So for Gylane, we will do it alone. We get the amount of water per um, lime juice, okay, or for each cup of lime juice, and we'll do the same for Renee, okay. So question B, it says compute the unit rate of water to lime juice in each limeade. So for Gylane, it's 3/4 cup water for fifth cup of lime juice. The easiest way, just divide. Divide the amount of water, which is the 3/4, by the amount of lime juice, which is fifth. Again, you have dividing fractions. You can do keep, change, flip. So you keep the first fraction. You write 3/4, the same. Divide, change it to multiply, and flip the 1/5 to 5 ones. Now, if you don't have anything to simplify, you just multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 times 1 is 4. 15 quarters, the top is heavy, you can turn it to a mixed number. And when we write the mixed number, the denominator is the same. So we keep the 4 down. And now you have to think of a number times the 4, and the answer is really close to 15, which is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. We cannot use 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We have only 15. So 3 times 4 is 12. And plus how much to get 15? 12 plus 3. So it's a 3 and 3/4. So for Jelaine, she uses 3 and 3/4 cup water for every 1 cup of lime juice. For Renee, 2/3 cup water for 1/6 cup lime juice. We do the same, divide in fractions again. 2/3 divided by 1/6. You keep the 2/3 and divide, change it to multiply, and the 1/6 you turn it into 6 ones. You flip it, you make it 6 over 1. We have something here to simplify. Actually, the 6 and 3 both can be divided by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now we multiply the new numbers. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1. So 4 ones, which is 4 over 1, which is equal to 4. So it's 4 cup water for every 1 cup lime juice. Now it's really clear here. We can compare here which taste is weaker, which taste has more water to lime juice. So whose limeade has a weaker flavor? Explain. Renee's limeade, actually. Why? Because it has a greater ratio of water to lime juice. Okay, so Renee uses 4 cup water for every 1 cup of lime juice. Okay, so to use more water, it means the flavor will be weaker. Question 4. The moon has a weaker gravitational pull than the Earth. So objects weigh less on the moon. For example, Jackson weighs 30 and 5/6 pounds on the moon and 185 pounds on Earth. Viola weighs 135 pounds on Earth and 22.5 pounds on the moon. Question A. Show that the relationship between weight on the moon and weight on the Earth is proportional. So in order to say that the relationship is proportional, the two ratios for Jackson and Viola must be the same. So for Jackson, it's 30 and 5/6 pounds, and this is on the moon, to 185 pounds, and this is on Earth. Okay, so let's divide these two numbers. So 30 and 5/6 divide by 185. First of all, 30 and 5/6, this is a mixed number. We have to turn it into a fraction first. So 30 and 5/6, to turn it to a fraction, we multiply the 30 by the 6 and then add the 5. So 30 times 6 is 180, plus 5, it's 185 over 6. Divide, which we turn it to multiply, and the 185 To flip it, you need to put 1 in the denominator. So 185 over 1, you flip it to 1 over 185. It's clear here. You can simplify it by crossing the 185. You divide by 185, you get 1 and you get 1. So anyways, it will be just 1 over 6. For Viola, you need to focus because he stated that 135 pounds, and that is on Earth first. Okay, so 135, this is on Earth, and 22 and a half, this is on the moon. So on the moon, we write up 22 and a half. So you need to divide the 22 and a half by 135. So what we will do here, again, we'll turn the 22 and a half into a fraction by multiply and plus. 22 times 2, this is 44 plus 1, which is 45 over 2. Divide, turn it into multiply, and 135, you flip it, which is actually 135 over 1, you flip it to 1 over 135. If you focus here, 45 and 135, you can simplify them. The 135 is 3 times the 45. So we can divide both numbers by 45. So if you divide 45 by 45, you get 1. And if you divide 135 by 45, you get 3. So you will lift up with 1 times 1, which is 1, and 2 times 3, which is 6. So it's 1/6. So you see here that the two ratios are the same. So we can say the relationship is proportional. And by the way, the 1/6, we call it the constant of proportionality. So here it says the constant of proportionality for moon weight in pounds to Earth weight in pounds. We can see it's a clear 1/6. Letter B, let X represent the weight on Earth. So X is the weight on Earth. Let Y represent the weight on the moon. Write an equation for the proportional relationship and use it to find the weight of a 20-pound dog on the moon. So guys, remember that constant of proportionality, which we call it K. Remember how was the equation? Yes, it's Y equal KX. Okay, and the K is 1/6, so the equation can be Y equal 1/6 X. Y is the weight on the moon, and X is the weight on the Earth. He asks us another question. It says, use this equation to find the weight of 20-pound of a 20-pound dog on the moon. So the 20-pound, this is the weight on Earth. We need to find the weight on the moon. So 20 pounds is the weight on the Earth, which is represented by the X. So X is 20. And we need to find the Y. So Y equal 1/6 times X, which is times 20 here. So 1/6 times 20, which you can make it 20 over 1. You can simplify the 6 and the 20 because both numbers can be divided by 2. So 20 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2. So 20 divided by 2 is 10, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the numbers up, 1 times 10 is 10, and 3 times 1 is 3. So 10/3, or you can turn it to a mixed number. You keep the 3 down in the denominator, and you think of a number times 3 close to 10, which is 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus how much to get 10 plus 1. So 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. So on the moon, the dog would weigh about 3 1/3 pound. Okay, so 3 1/3 pounds. So, and this makes sense, guys, because the weight of the dog on Earth is 20 pounds, and on the moon, it will be lighter. It will be just 1/6 of it. It's 3 1/3 pounds. Okay, check understanding. So let's solve these questions together. You can pause the video, guys, and try to solve these questions and then check the answer with me. Question number 1, it says, a faucet leaks 5/8 quart of water in 15 minutes. How many quarts does the faucet leak per hour? So again, we need the amount of water per hour, so we need to divide the amount of water by the number of hours. But if you see in the question here, it says 15 minutes, not hours. and we know that the 15 minutes are just quarter an hour. The easiest way to solve this, we divide the amount of water, the 5/8, by the amount of hours, the number of hours, which is quarter. So we just do 5/8 divide by quarter. So you keep the 5/8 and divide it, change it to multiply, and you flip the quarter, you make it 4/1. You can simplify the 4 and the 8. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Just multiply the numerator and denominator. 5 times 1 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. So 5/2, 5 halves, or return it to a mixed number, which is 2.5 quarts per hour. So the answer here is 2.5 quarts per hour. Tony ran 4/5 mile in 5th hour. Write an equation for the distance in miles y that she can run in x hours if she ran at a constant rate. So guys, to write the equation, we need the k. And to get the k, you need to divide the miles per hours. You need to divide the 4/5 by the 1/5. So 4/5 divided by 1/5. You do the same, keep it change flip, keep the 4/5, change the divide into multiply, and flip the 1/5 to 5 ones. You can cross the 5 with the 5, so you will live with 4/1, which is 4. And this 4 is the k, guys. And the equation is y equal kx. So instead of k, just put 4. So it will be y equal 4x. Question number 3. Write 3/4 cup per half serving as a unit rate. Unit rate, the same thing, just divide. So 3/4 divide by a half. Keep the 3/4, divide it, change it to multiply, and half, flip it to make it 2/1. You can simplify the 2 and the 4. Both can be divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Multiplying the numerator and the denominator, 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. So 3 halves, or 1.5, the same. So 1.5 cups per serving. So the answer is 1.5, or 1.5 cup per serving. Question number 4. Write 2¼ miles in 3/4 hour as a unit rate. We do the same. You'll divide the 2¼ by the 3/4. 2¼ you have first to change it to a fraction. So you multiply the 2 by the 4, and then add the 1, and that is equal to 9/4. And divide and change it to multiply, and you flip the 3/4 to make it 4/3. You can cross the 4, and 9 and 3 both can be divided by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. Multiplying the numerators, which is 3 times 1, which is 3/1, which is just 3. So it's 3 miles per hour. Now it's your turn on your own questions. You have to pause the video and try to solve these questions alone. I'll leave the answers for you here so you can go back and check your answers. Okay, now more practice and homework. You can do it alone, guys, and I'll leave for you the answers on Classera. Okay, hope you enjoyed this lesson, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.